Warning, this episode contains strong language and references to nudity and body horror. Hello and welcome to episode 3 of PauseCast, a show about play. I am Jessica Alouette.
And I'm Mark.
And today is June 16th, 2016.
And we're in the middle of E3.
Episode 3, E3.
E3, it's fated.
It was a little bit serendipitous, and I swear I didn't plan this. I realized it. I realized this literally 5 minutes ago, that we were recording episode 3 of the show during E3, which it's pretty good timing. It's super good timing. So
That's clearly a divine sign.
Oh yeah, we're blessed by the gaming gods. I hope I never have to say the words gaming gods again. But yeah, this is a podcast about video games. I think we're both pretty good at them. Are we good at them?
Well, I think we're good at enjoying them. That's the most important bit, right?
True enough.
That sounds like someone who never plays competitive games. Doesn't it?
Well, I mean,
But I don't really, so
I fucking don't. I mean, well, okay.
Okay. Well, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Rocket League.
And that's a competitive game, isn't it?
Arguably. I don't.
You're going to have to eat your words real quick.
Yeah, I know. I haven't been playing any of the competitive mode. Okay. The ranked matches. Mm-hmm, but I know they exist. And I get super into my just unranked play of Rocket League. Actually unlocked a Fallout 4 Vault Boy antenna for my car, which was really, really cool.
Cool. Always nice to get that sort of unlock when it's for another game you enjoy, eh?
Yeah, exactly. It's always nice, these little collaborations. And Psyonix has a bunch of them in Rocket League. There's
So Psyonix, is that the developer
of Rocket League? Yeah,
that's
the dev.
Cool.
So there's some stuff from Warframe, Unreal Tournament, Fallout 4, and probably a shit ton of other games that I haven't got a drop for yet. So, we'll see.
Cool.
That's not all I've been playing this week, but let's go to you for a sec. What have you been playing this week?
So I've had a bit of luck recently. I just finished moving house, and in the process, I found my PSP. So I've actually been going back and playing Final Fantasy Dissidia, which is a fighting game for the PSP with all different Final Fantasy characters from the different games. And I've actually been kind of craving it lately, having been playing through Final Fantasy X and remembering that Yuna is a playable character in Dissidia 2, and all of her attacks are using summons. I was like, I really want to try that. So that's been a lot of fun. It's kind of been my break time game during the moving process. Yeah, and I suppose it is a competitive game as well. But I've only been playing against bots.
Well, fighting games are very competitive by nature. And they're also super, super technical. Something else I've been playing myself has been Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Yeah,
I'm not playing Street Fighter 5 yet because I got Street Fighter 4 for $10. And I don't want to make the investment into Street Fighter V quite yet, just because I didn't know if I was going to like it. Turns out I did. But, cool. Yeah, those games are, really, really competitive by nature, and they have huge scenes that spring up around them. You look at all the Street Fighter scene, it's gigantic.
So you're talking about the competitive play community, right? Yeah,
competitive fighting games. A lot of games are being designed specifically for that. Street Fighter V's kind of target audience was this competitive crowd. So it's just, fighting games have just been competitive kind of by nature. I'm not very good at them, so it's not something that I could get into.
I'm not particularly either. I'm not sure if this description really applies quite so much to Dissidia, because although I wouldn't speak too highly of it, it does have quite a lengthy story mode. And I mean, being for the PSP with, I believe, local only multiplayer and stuff, competition, I don't know if there's ever been a huge thing. There might be, and I just completely missed it.
I doubt that there would be nowadays. Maybe in the height.
Now certainly,
yeah,
no.
like in the height of the PSP era, there might have been a small scene, but I doubt it would be quite as prolific as anything that we've seen kind of crop up in recent years.
What else have you been playing?
I have been playing. I've played a little bit of Uncharted 4.
Yeah. So you're not rushing through that at quite the pace. You finished the first 3 games.
Yeah, I beat the first 3 games in kind of a hurry because I was like, oh well, I'm getting really into this, and Uncharted 4 is coming out. And now that I have Uncharted 4, it's like I'm taking this at a bit more of a leisurely pace, and in fact hadn't touched it for a couple weeks until I picked it up again recently. But the good thing about Uncharted is you're able to jump in pretty easily, and everything's segmented off into chapters. And these chapters are about 45 minutes to an hour on kind of average, maybe a little bit shorter in some cases. But regardless, it still makes for a decent cutoff point. So I can play that game for half an hour or an hour, and I'm satisfied with the time I've played. Where something like Fallout 4 or The Witcher, I want to get super, super into for several hours, and then that's my session with that.
Yeah, for sure. I've actually found with Fallout 4, now that the survival mode's available, where when you save, it has to be in a bed, it feels a bit more episodic to me. Like, a day is now a sort of a unit of time you'll play for. An in-game day, of course, not a solid...
Yeah. We can't play for 24-hour chunks. We're not machines.
We could attempt it, maybe. Probably not a good idea.
We're not machines, nor are we Twitch streamers.
But yeah, I've found, not that I've been playing it the last week or two with all the moving, but it feels quite more episodic to me doing the survival, because you'll load and you'll go, okay, it's the morning because I slept when I last saved, and you'll go and you'll play a day and you'll sleep and you're like, oh, well, this could be a good stopping point. Especially since I often find I'm making it back to whatever safe spot I'd had in order to have that night-long sleep.
Yeah.
But it's been interesting how that's transformed the gameplay a bit for me. And then, of course, there's the whole, if you die and you lose an hour's progress, you're going to rage quit. And that's kind of a good stopping point, I guess.
It doesn't quite have the same level of...
Satisfaction?
I'm not going to say satisfaction. I'm going to say it doesn't quite have the same level of repeatability as something like Dark Souls does. Because even if you reload a checkpoint in Fallout 4, basically nothing is the same. Like, shit has...
Especially if you've traveled a long distance, right? When stuff loads, it gets generated and sometimes it's going to be different. Whereas, Dark Souls games, these are the places where the enemies are. And
it's all fixed. Fallout 4 feels a little bit more dynamic with that. But that can work to both your advantage and your disadvantage.
It's a different type of play, right? You're not
it's a radically
mastering
different
a particular level. You're reacting to what gets thrown at you.
Exactly. Speaking of mastery of levels, I've also been playing some more Hitman.
They had another one of those illusory contracts recently, didn't they?
Yeah, the elusive targets. They've actually
right.
had 2, and one's running right now with something like 12 hours left on it. So I'm going to be taking on that after we finish recording here.
Cool. Good luck with that.
Thank you very much.
Because it's only one attempt, right?
Yeah. I've explained this before on the show. One attempt.
Have, that's right.
Yeah. One attempt. If you die, then that's it. If you kill the target and die, that's it. After you kill the target, you can't restart. I actually failed my first one of those elusive targets. Yeah. It was the priest, or sorry, the prince, who was a bishop lined up to become pope in the future. I actually found him, and I killed him, but I got killed by a shitload of guards immediately afterwards, so not worth it. Apparently episode 4 has also been announced for Hitman, which is interesting, and they're doing a bonus episode, which will have 2 more extra levels taking place in. They'll take place in the existing levels, but you'll return to them in the past.
So they'll be slightly different.
Yeah, you'll be. I think one is a movie star, and one is. Oh, I forget what the other one is. But there's going to be a movie set up and a whole new set of objectives with that one. So that's coming as free content for everyone, which is super nice.
Cool.
And that's it, man. Have you been playing anything else, or have you been just too busy moving house?
I've had the continuing saga of my playing through Final Fantasy X, where I've gotten up to that point, like in a lot of Final Fantasy games, once you beat a near end game boss, the game opens up a lot. So I've gotten to that point where I'm not yet strong enough to continue, but it's opened up. It's more stuff for me to do. So I'm pretty much exactly where I was when I last played through it before I stopped. So I must not lose my momentum. And I've kind of got a deadline because Monster Hunter Generations comes out a month from today. And me and my flatmate have both pre-ordered that. So we're going to be playing it the day it comes out, hopefully. And I'm sure I'll lose momentum on whatever else I'm playing when that starts.
Gotta get those G ranks.
No matter how long it takes, right? I'm still hoping that I might be able to fight every monster in the current Monster Hunter game before Generations comes out. But
how many hours do you have in that game right now?
Oh, I think it's somewhere around 180. Might be more, but this is not the first Monster Hunter game I've played.
Yeah, certainly not.
So, actually, when I found my PSP, I've got my original saves from all the previous ones I played as well on there.
That's some good shit. I think the game I have the most time on right now that I can easily tell you, I've logged this much time on, is Animal Crossing with 135 hours.
So is there that much content in the game that you can sink so much time into it? It's not a game I've played.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of stuff in there.
Cool.
Because everything's based in real time, and you can go back on Christmas Day, and the town will be decorated. And...
That's quite neat.
Well, yeah, that's been the whole appeal of the Animal Crossing games. Really, it's that.
Right.
It's these repeatable, very relaxing chunks of game, and it changes on a day-to-day basis because certain things are only available during certain seasons. You can only catch certain bugs and fish and stuff like that. And you need those to complete your museum collection, which doesn't offer any tangible kind of reward for it. It's just kind of like,
it is its own reward, right?
Yeah, I built up my museum. How lovely is that?
It's reminding me a little bit of Stardew Valley, except the seasons in that game are based on playtime rather than real time.
Yeah, that's a little bit more to the Harvest Moon formula.
Yeah, very much so.
Where this is all just it's real time.
Actually, apparently, I saw the other day that Stardew Valley is coming to consoles now.
Yeah, it's coming to. I definitely know it's coming to Xbox. That was announced during their very brief ID at Xbox showcase at E3.
Oh, I didn't know they had any mention of it at E3. That's cool. Sorry, I follow the Chucklefish blog, which is how I found out about that.
Is it coming to PS4 as well?
I'm just trying to find the... I think so, but let me check.
Okay. I mean, it's going to be super good if they can bring it to the PS4, because it's a very well-designed game that a lot of people are really liking. And if it's coming to consoles, that means it's succeeded well enough on the PC that they could afford to do that. And that's always super, super good.
Okay, so the May 1st blog post on the actual Stardew Valley thing says console ports. Doesn't mention... Oh, actually, no, sorry. Here it is, in the side. Stardew Valley coming to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Wii U.
Oh, coming to Wii U as well.
Yeah.
That's a surprisingly good fit. That's a good fit. I'm into it.
Cool. So that's fourth quarter 2016. So not too far off.
Fourth quarter 2016. The Wii U is actually going to be a really good fit for that, I think. Because that's going to, theoretically, it's going to be pretty good for taking care of your inventory and stuff like that, or having a map, or just something extra on that Wii U screen.
I'm actually thinking, the Wii U, it's kind of an aging console now, isn't it? Because, now correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't both Microsoft and Sony announced, like, not a next generation, but an upgrade to their current consoles in terms of hardware?
Yes. The Xbox One's upgrade is known as Scorpio,
that was mentioned at E3, right?
It was, yeah. It's not this Xbox One S that's coming out. That's like a slim version with some beefed up performance. Scorpio is a whole other upgrade. It's going to be a little bit beefier than that. If you haven't heard the details of this new console upgrade, this new console upgrade's got a slightly smaller console. It's very, very slight. They advertised it with a very, very misleading graphic.
Yeah, did it show like a comparison one?
Yeah, it showed a comparison that shrunk it down like a ton, but the difference is actually quite minuscule. But
right.
The point is they've slimmed down the console regardless. They've beefed up the performance a little bit, and it also supports 4K video now.
And now there's also the PlayStation stuff, right? Now you made a prediction earlier on PlayStation Neo, but we haven't got to see that at E3, right?
We didn't get to see it at E3. Sony confirmed it exists. Sony confirmed that there will be no exclusives for the Neo.
That. I like that, actually.
Yeah, because they've said that every game will have to have the exact same content between the, I guess I'm going to say, quote-unquote, first-gen PS4 and the upcoming PS4, whatever the Neo is actually going to be named. But it is also going to be able to support VR a little bit better. And that's kind of one of the selling points of this upgraded PlayStation. So part of that was kind of me being, I was kind of right about that.
Cool.
Either new hardware refreshes, the Wii U as an aging console. I mean, I guess it kind of is.
I'm remembering when my previous flatmate bought a Wii U exclusively for Monster Hunter, which I approve of buying consoles exclusively for Monster Hunter, having bought a Wii exclusively for Monster Hunter Tri. But this would have been, 3 and a bit years ago, I think, that he bought it. Certainly before the current generation.
So right around launch time for the Wii U, then?
Possibly, yeah. I don't remember exactly when it came out. But is Nintendo keeping up, do you think? Have they got anything else in the works that you know of?
Well, they've got that NX system, but the Wii U is on its way out.
So the NX, you've mentioned this to me. This is the one that there isn't really much known about it except that it's a thing.
Yeah,
right?
we know that it exists. There's rumblings that it is a hybrid home console and handheld. There is all kinds
of rumblings. Just not exactly self-explanatory, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's not self-explanatory. Think not exactly sure what the NX is really at all.
But hopefully it'll be cool.
Yeah. I think I've mentioned this before. There are, again, rumblings, nothing confirmed, that the reason for these upcoming hardware upgrades is that Sony and Microsoft saw the specs for the NX and got scared.
Well, competition is good, so
it is. So I'm all for it. I'm disappointed to see the Wii U die the way it has.
How's that?
It's been a really, really slow death for it, is the thing. The library for it has always been kind of primarily first party. There's been very, very little third party support for the Wii U, which sucks.
Because the most important things about a console is the games you can play on it.
Exactly. And even games that were originally announced for the Wii U, I don't think some of them ever showed up on it, but they showed up elsewhere. One of the ones around the Wii U's launch time was Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Okay.
The director's cut version
Mm-hmm.
with extra commentary and second screen functionality was originally slated as a Wii U exclusive.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was originally going to be just exclusive to the platform because they were the only company doing any second screen stuff. And then Sony and Microsoft both announced second screen functionality. Microsoft's Smart Glass, which has failed. And
I've never heard of it, so it must have.
And whatever Sony's thing is, which is also presumably not very good.
Whatever Sony's thing is, yes.
Whatever Sony's
successful.
thing was. And either way, the director's cut ended up coming to PlayStation, and it ended up coming to the Xbox and PC. So it was no longer a Wii U exclusive. It was no longer gonna do anything for Nintendo. And third-party support, like I said, it's just been kind of weak. They've had some pretty good indie stuff popping up on the eShop every now and again, and they've got a really great library of first-party titles, like Splatoon, probably one of my favorite games of last year.
That's the paint shooty.
That's the paint shooty.
Okay,
You got it.
I've heard about it, but I've not played it. I've not actually seen any footage of it.
It's really, really good. It's very It's colorful and it's fun, and it's a shooter that works for kids and for adults.
That's good.
So, I'm all here for that.
Yeah, I remember. I've got a couple of young cousins who used to come around, and while I was still living at my parents' place, we'd bring out the PS3 with Little Big Planet. It was a great game that we enjoyed, and we could play with them without having to worry about anything. The only problem we ran across was that the controllers were a bit big for their hands. So one of them, he could jump or move at the same time.
Okay.
But he was quite young.
Yeah. I mean, it happens.
Yeah, he had a lot of fun in the little introduction bit. We have to jump over a few walls. Mm-hmm. But it is good having kid-friendly games in your library, I think. Little Big Planet has been my go-to for that.
That's a pretty solid go-to.
Mm.
The designs in that game they're kind of cute, but like at the same time, everything I've seen from Little Big Planet,
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't really convinced me that it's kind of a game for me. I appreciate that there's a lot of like stage building and stuff like that in there.
I've never gotten into that part of it.
Okay.
I've only done the platforming and the dress up your character stuff.
Sure. Is there like a ton of single player content in that game?
All the platforming stuff, except for there are some co-op puzzles for getting extra pieces that are all optional. You can run through the whole game in single player. It's more fun with a second or third or fourth player, but you can do the whole thing in single player.
Okay.
It's definitely the sort of game I'd recommend playing with someone else, though.
Okay. That, you just anti-sold me against it on that, so I definitely prefer solo experiences.
So do I typically. So I definitely get that. But this is one that I have been glad to have around in the past.
Yeah. All right. So, do you want to get into the big topic of the week?
We've been ignoring it a little bit, haven't we?
No, we've touched on it here. We've touched on it there.
The hardware stuff. Okay, yeah, let's go.
Let's go. The big topic
E3.
this week, episode 3, E3. 2016. It's happened. It's kind of interesting because several people like pulled out from E3 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they pulled away from the main event or are hosting a streamed event. Like EA pulled away from E3 entirely. They were like, we're just gonna stream a thing. I think Bethesda is technically not part of E3 as well.
But they have done their announcement at the same time, at least.
They did the so does like Nintendo and EA during their streamed events. But like they weren't doing something as part of E3. They were just doing their own thing.
Although for me, at least, partly being on the other side of the world from where this is all going on, E3 is just that time in June where there's a ton of gaming news. Whether or not it's part of the event doesn't make a huge difference to me, or I'm sure many others.
Yeah, like it's that season where literally nothing but video games comes up on your Twitter feed for hours on end. And I mean, I'm here for that. But sometimes I just want to see some cute art and it gets buried in video games.
Oh no.
The worst possible thing.
So what have you seen that you liked at E3 so far? Wait, I say so far. Is there more? I don't tend to watch stuff as it happens. I tend to see it afterwards.
Yeah, Nintendo had their thing today, and I think that kind of concludes all of E3.
Okay.
Nintendo actually showed off the new Legend of Zelda game.
Yeah. So what's the deal with that?
The deal with that is that right now we do think it's coming to the NX and the Wii U, so it's going to be a kind of transitional game.
Okay.
That's going to be interesting. It's open world.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of common for Zelda games, isn't it?
Not as open as this.
Okay.
Zelda games are typically, I guess, open hub would be how I might describe it, where you have kind of a central hub that you can explore in, and then there's bits to go off into in dungeons.
Yeah.
But they're their own self-contained areas, unlike an open world like in an Assassin's Creed or something like that, where it's all one contiguous world with one theme.
Fair enough. But sorry, go on.
So it's been shown off. Apparently it's having some performance issues at this stage in its development. Laura Kate Dale, who we've mentioned before on the show, at Laura K. Buzz on Twitter, she was talking about how Zelda's performance was very inconsistent. A lot of frame rate drops, a lot of just kind of weird things going on with that game. And Nintendo also made some shitty excuses this week about how Link couldn't be a woman. Because
I've seen some conversations about that. I've seen actually some people delve into the lore who know a ton more about the lore of Zelda than I do, who seem to have pretty good points about how it's not a necessary thing. There's something about a cycle going on.
There's all kinds of reasons why Link totally could just be a woman in one of the games. Like, for example, let me hit you with this. Link just turns into a wolf in one of the games. Like, huh?
Changing species is a pretty big deal.
That's a pretty big deal. But Link can be a wolf and not a woman? That's...
Originally, wasn't Link supposed to be just sort of that empty embodiment of the player?
Nintendo has previously said that Link is intended to be a, quote, link to the player, end quote.
And we've kind of talked about those empty characters before and the tendency of them all to be white men. I suppose that's kind of going on with Link here, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, like, an argument could be made that, yes, Link is, like, Japanese, or he's not a white dude, but he's still a dude that's intended to add as, like, have there as a blank slate. And there's certainly no reason why Link couldn't be a woman. Like, no lore reason, no logical reason.
And Link's design has typically been pretty androgynous as well.
Yeah, exactly. Link's design is, like, super, super androgynous. Which makes it even, like, it makes it weird that they had that Linkle character in the Hyrule Warriors game.
What was that?
It was
Hyrule Warriors was a kind of like Dissidia for Nintendo games, right?
No, it was like a Dynasty Warriors, kind of fighting off hordes of mobs.
Okay.
That sort of genre.
Mm-hmm.
And and Linkle was a woman version of Link who had a couple crossbows and was a total badass, and people really loved her design.
Oh, so they've actually done it.
Yeah, they've actually done this, I guess technically, but Link still can't be a woman in a main game.
Well, they just need to give her own title then. Okay, so back to the game. What sets this one apart from other Zelda games?
You know what?
Is there anything that makes it special?
I haven't got a goddamn clue.
Okay.
I just know that it's significantly more open than Legend of Zelda games have typically been. Apparently, you can actually, quote, complete the game without going through the main story.
That sounds unusual.
Yeah, you could go straight for the goal if you wanted to.
Right.
But you don't have to go through most of the game, which is I guess speedrunners are gonna like that.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't see a hell of a lot of use.
No, it's not really a draw card for me.
Yeah.
Okay. What else have you seen that you like the look of?
The new Fallout 4 DLC is looking good.
It's the Nuka World one, right?
Nuka World, Contraptions, and Vault Tech.
Yes. Those smaller ones as well that are kind of like the Wasteland Workshop.
I think I like the cycle that Fallout 4's DLC is releasing on so far. It's been kind of 2 workshop DLCs and then a major narrative one. So,
yeah, I can imagine a lot of people will be looking forward to this Vault one. I mean, make your own vault. That's kind of what people wanted to do in Fallout 4 from the start, right?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe even earlier than that, having control over their own vault. And I mean, Fallout Shelter, I guess, kind of gave people a taste of that. So now that it's coming to the main game, and Fallout Shelter's coming to PC as well, which is interesting.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Yeah. It's been pretty popular, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was apparently one of Bethesda's most downloaded games. And it was just iOS and Android. So it's going to be interesting when that comes to PC. As far as I know, it's still going to be a free-to-play title as well. So that's cool. Also cool.
Yeah, especially since I hadn't heard that it's got problems with sticking microtransactions in your face or anything.
Yeah, I haven't heard that either. So I would assume that it's doing pretty good.
Cool.
Skyrim is getting a remaster.
Which you get for free as an upgrade if you own Skyrim and all its DLC on Steam, which I do. But I haven't played all the DLC, so now that remaster is going to be my excuse to go back and play all the DLC I own.
Yep. If you own the Legendary Edition or just have bought all the DLC separate, you'll be upgraded to Skyrim's, quote, Special Edition when it unlocks on October 23rd of this year. And that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Also interesting was that Fallout 4 is apparently getting a VR release.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting. I hadn't heard about that.
You will be able to play all of Fallout 4 in VR.
I'm trying to think now if there are any parts which wouldn't work. Well, presumably they'll be looking at that. If there are.
You're playing the whole game in first person anyway.
I'm just remembering, for example, in Fallout 3, where you spend some time as an infant and you're this far off the ground. That'll be a bit strange in VR, but I don't think there's anything like that in Fallout 4.
No, I don't think so. I think
there was
being low to the ground in VR wouldn't be too huge of a deal, you know?
Yeah, maybe not. I saw there was a VR thing for Final Fantasy 15, was there? That got shown off?
Apparently it's not that great.
Yeah, it was just you go to a few predefined positions rather than moving around and just pull a trigger, wasn't it? Or something?
I have no idea, honestly.
Okay.
It did get a VR thing, I know that. Resident Evil 7 got a VR thing as well.
Oh, horror games scare me. I can't play them, but
that's just going to be profoundly bad in VR as well.
I wouldn't be able to do that. I just wouldn't.
Nope, neither am I. I'm not even going to try. But it exists. Good on Capcom. Great job, guys. Keep it 9 feet away from me, please.
Well, VR is certainly a trend, eh? I mean, with what you were mentioning about the new PlayStation stuff as well, and all the games that have got some stuff for VR.
Yeah,
it's coming.
It does seem like VR is here to stay this time, huh?
Mm.
I'm here for it. What about you? What have you seen at D3 so far that you've been?
I'm actually really excited to see the return of The Last Guardian.
The return of The Last Guardian.
Yeah, it kind of was playing dead for a while. Because it was E3 4 years ago or something that it first got shown off?
2009.
7 years ago. Oh my goodness.
Last Guardian has been dormant for a while.
That's longer than I thought. But I was looking forward to it then, when it was on a console I owned. Now it's not, so I'm going to have to get a PS4 at some point. But as someone who really enjoyed Shadow of the Colossus a lot, and you should play it, by the way. I know you own a copy.
Yeah, I have the collection on PS3 with Ico and Shadow of the Colossus.
You got to get to that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to The Last Guardian. I like just the idea of it, that it's about that interplay between those two characters and their puzzle solving. Everything I've seen with it looks really appealing to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very exciting to know that it's actually happening. It's actually going to be released for real. Honestly, even if it turns out to be mediocre, I'm pretty sure I'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will. Apparently, from what's been played so far, it's feeling quite nostalgic for people.
Nostalgia works for me.
Yeah, it works for a lot of people. Speaking of nostalgia,
yeah,
Sony at their E3 presser also announced that Crash Bandicoot is coming back, which actually leads into one of our questions that we got this week, which was, how excited are you for Crash Bandicoot? And that's from Harley. And like, a lot of people love Crash Bandicoot. I don't really have anything like... I don't have any nostalgia for Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I kind of missed the Crash Bandicoot wagon, I think. When it was a big thing, it was before I was young enough that my parents would let us have consoles. Oh no, so I never really got to play it. So I don't have the nostalgia for it with it, which I think, as you mentioned, is kind of a big driver for being excited about it coming back now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, even Ratchet and Clank, the reason I own that is because my fiance was interested in it. And because she had the nostalgia for the series.
It's going to be interesting to see how something gets handled where since it's being made presumably for an audience that will be nostalgic. It's kind of like originally, as far as I'm aware, it was aimed at younger audiences, and now that younger audience has grown up and they still want to play the game. Are they going to do anything differently with it, or is it still going to be for younger audiences?
I think it's still going to target younger audiences, but I still think it's going to be appealing to the people who, have grown up around these games and grow up with fond memories of them.
I suppose if they want to be true to the nostalgia, they'll want to keep it about the same stuff.
Yeah. We're probably going to see a lot of kind of the same from it. I think we'll see a lot updated design, though, because from the section of Crash Bandicoot that I played in another game, that game is wonky as fuck. And
I will say as well, from what I saw in the Sony conference at E3, conference probably isn't the right word, but anyway, they showed Crash Bandicoot in a modern-ish game with still cartoony, but like more detailed, slightly more realistic graphics, and it's pretty terrifying. It's like it looked like a face in a torso with arms and legs to me. So I'm just not that familiar with it. It looked very odd. Just putting that out there.
yeah,
But hey, it's still it's still consistent with the old design, right? And that's the important thing when you're bringing something back.
Mm-hmm.
Just some things should be kept very much in the realm of a cartoon. So I hope they don't go too much further towards detail on this. Keep it very cartoony, because the more realistic that gets, the more terrifying it gets.
I just thought about for a second, like an ultra realistic Crash Bandicoot, and I'm dead on the inside.
Oh, it's no.
Okay, we need to purchase from our brains.
I wonder if you could if there's any game with a character creator like for realistic characters, where you could make Crash Bandicoot.
No, don't even make me think about that.
But like some of them have got really good character creators, like Dragon's Dogma, which lets you pick body type and arm length and stuff. Could you make something that looks kind of like it?
No.
Is there any game where you can like sink someone's face down into their torso?
Oh.
If anyone knows about a game where you think you could make Crash Bandicoot in a character creator, let us know.
What about using like a save editor for Mass Effect 2 and just...
Can you do that sort of stuff?
Oh, yeah. You can... Griffin and Justin did a Monster Factory in Mass Effect 2, and they actually just... They created these horrifying visages of humans. Like, legitimately upsetting. By taking the save editor and just switching around the positions of everything to random numbers, and they ended up with horrifying things. I don't want to think about Crash Bandicoot as a human and a character creator. This is bad. But what about this? What if we took Crash Bandicoot and we made Crash Bandicoot in Spore?
Yeah, you can do that.
And then we made more Crash Bandicoots.
You can put the little helmets on them and make them fly around in space.
Oh, genetic mutation. They're going to turn out purple. We're going to be dealing with purple Crash Bandicoots with mouths 3 times the size of the original form we created.
It could be worse. If you're playing Spore, you're much more likely to run into penis monsters.
Well, you're not wrong.
Anyway, shall we move back to E3?
Yes, let's get back on E3 so I can get these horrifying visages out of my brain.
So one trend I noticed, most of what I caught was from the Sony stuff. It was when I tuned in. I tuned into the part where they were showing the new Call of Duty, which, honestly, Call of Duty's never really appealed to me, so it just kind of looked like guns in space, the game.
I still have some hope for Infinite Warfare.
I mean, to be fair, anything in space has some appeal to me, but Call of Duty being what Call of Duty is doesn't have a huge appeal to me. But I noticed a particular trend of, yay, more games with white protagonists, particularly men, like with that new zombie game and stuff. But
yeah, that looks... I don't even know what to think about that.
The one that really gets me, though, what was it called? Scalebound. Oh, it's like someone looked at Monster Hunter, a game I really enjoy, and thought, what this really needs is Dude Bros. Oh, no.
See, the thing about what if we took Monster Hunter and set it somewhere else? That game exists already, and it's called Dragon's Dogma.
I mean, I like new takes on the sorts of games I like. It's competition, right? They learn from each other. But, I cannot stand looking at the protagonist in the promotional footage for Scalebound, or listening to him, it's just too Dude Bro-esque for me. I can't do it.
The weird thing is that Platinum, the developer of that, they have a pretty solid reputation, but they've been making a lot of shit games recently.
Like what?
The new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game was developed by Platinum.
That sounds like a bad idea to start with.
Yep, it was, but they developed it anyway. Transformers Devastation was apparently okay. But they kind of had a golden age when they did the Bayonetta games and Metal Gear Rising.
Okay, right.
Those were both Platinum games. And both kind of established Platinum as being super, super good at this kind of character action game.
Which is what Scalebound seems to be, right?
Okay. Well, I'm not 100% certain with that.
Yeah. My criticism is definitely more to do with the character design than anything else. What I've seen of the gameplay looks very scripted. It's kind of hard to judge. They showed this big battle with like a giant crab thing, but from what I could see of the footage, there didn't seem to be any actual skill required to do it. Like they weren't in danger from its attacks or anything, except in one point where I think if they didn't move, they wouldn't have been hit anyway. So it was very cinematic, but it didn't look very interesting in terms of gameplay, unfortunately. So it's kind of like I'd like it to be good, but it's really missed a few notes for me. But what I do think is going to be very cool to play is that game whose name I always forget with the robot dinosaurs.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's a terrible name.
You know what's a really terrible name?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what else?
Death Stranding.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree.
Hideo Kojima's new project. That is the dumbest name for anything I've ever seen. That's a record. It's the dumbest name ever. World record. 100% definitely.
Yeah, Death Stranding. It's kind of just a mystery with Hideo Kojima's name attached to it and not really much more.
No, and those two words don't go together. They don't. No. Like, death, no.
Okay, Name aside, what did you think of what you saw?
Let me finish this real quick, though.
Okay.
Death Stranded, that would be better. Just saying, Hideo. That one's on me. You can totally take that.
I think it's a bit late for him to change, but fair point. But name aside, What do you think of what you saw?
Well, there was a lot of Norman Reedus' ass.
Yeah, I've been a little surprised that everyone seems to know who Norman Reedus is but me. But you said he's an actor on The Walking Dead?
Norman Reedus is one of the lead actors in The Walking Dead.
I feel like I have an advantage then not knowing them, because I think if I played a game with an actor I'm familiar with their face on everything, I'd find it hard to remember him in a game. And this looks like, from what little we've seen, it looks like it's a game where the story is going to matter.
Yeah.
Like, it showed someone crying over a baby. That's not a game where you ignore story, presumably.
No.
So
and I mean, like,
I'm glad that won't be there with a familiar face to take me out of it. But I'm guessing if he's a famous actor, a lot of people won't have that. So a little disappointing, maybe.
I think a lot of people aren't going to be bothered by that, because I think a lot of people are just they're still going to get into the character.
Yeah.
I also observed that it is mercifully still running on the Fox engine from Metal Gear Solid 5, which is a really, really well constructed engine, and I'm glad that they've been able to keep that engine in the transition from Konami.
Good point, yeah.
Because there was some concerns that Konami would just snag all the rights to Fox engine, and they wouldn't be able to use it, which would stink because Kojima Productions put a ton of work into that.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, well, we're going to see how this goes.
Yeah, I think it's hard really to say much before we see more. It's got me intrigued, but it's very much a mystery still.
Yeah.
So we didn't even know what type of gameplay it's going to have or anything about the story except that it's going to be weird. But we kind of knew that because Kojima's involved.
Yeah. If there's one thing Kojima needs, it's an editor. He doesn't seem to have one, which is weird.
Hey, it could be good, so let's not be too quick.
I'm not disparaging the man's ability to make a decent game. I'm just saying he needs an editor. So hopefully he'll get one in time for the launch of Death Stranding. We don't know any launch details. We don't know any gameplay details. We don't know anything about this game. I wouldn't be surprised if Guillermo del Toro or Junji Ito, who were scheduled to be involved in previous project Silent Hills, may it rest in peace. We don't know if there's going to be any involvement from them. I wouldn't doubt it. I also wouldn't doubt that this is a horror title, but we don't know anything yet.
I'm going to hope it's not, because as I mentioned earlier, I am not able to comfortably play horror titles.
Do you think you could play something that's more action with horror elements?
Oh, so, like if it was something like Doom, where I can separate myself from the horror because it becomes very mechanical, sure. But anything that is like trying to be what most horror fans, I presume, would call good horror, like stuff that actually has an effect on you.
Mm-hmm.
That effect I don't enjoy and try to avoid, so why would I play the game?
Yeah.
It's for other people. But
Yeah,
I'm hoping this is going to be a game for me because it does intrigue me and I'd like to have a go at it. But I mean, we'll just have to wait to know more about it.
All right. Something else from E3.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a little bit of Microsoft's presser.
So what did they get up to?
Well, something. They had that hardware unveil right at the beginning of their presentation, which was kind of I would say it's a surprise, but it's not really.
Mm-hmm.
They also unveiled something else interesting, which was that they have unveiled what's called the Xbox Design Lab, which does seem to be only available in the States right now, which is a huge bummer.
Oh.
But you can make custom controllers. You can customize everything on them. So you can get custom base colors, button colors, whatever you want on there.
So this is just the design, not changing the shape or size or
yeah, it's not changing the shape or size or anything. It's just all cosmetic.
Okay.
And that's cool. I like the idea of being able to give your controller a more personal touch through kind of, quote, official means instead of having to rely on third-party skins or anything like that where, I mean, it's kind of a pain in the ass to apply properly and stuff like that.
Fair enough.
So I'm excited to see where this goes.
Hopefully it comes here, because
hopefully it goes international, because I want to be able to get a custom controller.
Yeah, stuff that's not available here is always annoying. My flatmate just earlier today told me that he'd seen, I think this was as part of a GOG bundle, that there was like a demo for Monster Hunter Generations, which I'm very much looking forward to. And when he tried to get it going, not available in your region. Damn it. Always frustrating. I think it was. I may be misremembering what he told me. So
that's possible. GOG mostly does PC games.
Yeah, I think this was like a code that was associated with a GOG bundle or something. You're right, it does PC games. So I might just be misremembering, but the bit about the demo and region, I remember.
Yeah. Maybe it was just a promo code that was being thrown out by Nintendo.
Yeah, that's quite possibly it.
Hey, look. Guys, look, it's a game. It's a video game.
Not for you.
But it's not for you. It's only you can only unlock it if you're in the Americas.
I can understand it a bit for something like what you've described, where they'd have to ship it overseas and stuff. But for digital content, it really always bothers me when it's region locked.
Yeah, like, come on.
And I can understand it's for licensing and stuff, but I don't care about your licensing. Let me play the stuff.
Just let me play my fucking video games. Please?
Any media that gets region locked, it's a pain. Just let us consume that media.
Can I just say that I really like that PlayStation, like, allows region locking, but nobody fucking uses it because it's not enforced?
Now, am I remembering right that you told me once that there is one game ever that's used region locking?
There's a single game that's ever used region locking on the PlayStation 3, and it was Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, which is a dumb name, also. Not quite as dumb as Death Stranding, but it's still a dumb name. But it's the only game on the PlayStation 3 or 4 that has been region locked to date. Which is weird. I don't know why they would have done that. It's also annoying when digital region locks kind of happen. Like, I can't get a copy of Persona 4 on my PlayStation 3 here. But I can get it I could get it in the US if I wanted, but I just can't get it from the New Zealand store. I don't know why that is. But it's a thing. And it's dumb.
Yep. All agreed. Region locking stuff is dumb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to Microsoft.
Yep.
They showed off a little bit of Final Fantasy 15.
That was the VR bit, was it? Or was that something else?
No, it was the non-VR bit. The VR bit was, I think, part of Sony's.
Okay.
But they showed off some gameplay from Final Fantasy 15.
Final Fantasy 15 is kind of a weird one for me because typically I really am a Final Fantasy fan, but I haven't seen anything that looks interesting to me in this one. I wonder if maybe the problem is, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it just a group of guys driving around or something? Is the main gist of what we've seen?
Just dudes hanging out.
Yeah, that doesn't seem
just chilling with my bros.
Yeah, nah. It's kind of the same problem I've got with Scalebound. So we'll see with that one for me.
Apparently they made another shitty excuse about the inclusion of women in their games as well.
I'll just go back and play 13 again, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, there's part of me that can attribute that to Japanese culture, which is still, it is still a little bit misogynist. Women are still assumed
find
to
me
have
a culture that isn't.
Well, yeah, this is more so than others.
Okay.
Shall we say traditionally misogynist, or not, like traditionally patriarchal?
Patriarchal? I don't know how to say that word.
Patriarchal, I think, is how you say
it.
But it's men are in control and women don't have a hell of a lot of power. It's shifting still, but it's been a more gradual shift than other places in the world. I'm still pleased that the shift is happening, but it's interesting to note that culture still exists and affects the products that are reaching us here. It's something to be aware of.
Yep, fair enough.
What else was shown off at Microsoft's? There was some Gears of War, I guess.
Gears of War is still a thing?
There's Gears of War 4, which missed opportunity, Gears of 4.
Oh no, that's not a missed opportunity. That is a good thing to avoid. Bullet dodged.
Oh, come on. That was a good joke.
Oh no, it was terrible. Although, the Resident Evil thing with the VII and the 7 in Biohazard, that's well done, I think. I like that.
That's really clever.
Especially since they didn't have to change it to fit it. When they have to change it to fit it, I think that's a bit But when they managed to fit it in without changing the name, hey, yeah, cool, good job. Especially since they got it in both the different names, because depending on the region, it's either called Resident Evil Biohazard or Biohazard Resident Evil. So, good job.
Super good. What else was shown off at... there was some Forza, I think. Halo Wars 2, which I'm surprised got a sequel.
Which one's Halo Wars?
It's the RTS.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, and it's coming to Windows and it's coming to Windows and it's coming to Xbox One.
Yeah, of course.
I guess kind of the biggest news out of Microsoft's presser, which was really boring. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
They had some like good indie stuff, but about after that was when I was like, this isn't actually terribly interesting. I'm going to say it was interesting, but in the most boring way possible. And I think that accurately describes Microsoft.
That's damning praise.
Like, Microsoft just bought LinkedIn. That's interesting, but in the most boring way imaginable. Like,
yeah.
That's Microsoft.
So I switched off for a moment when you said LinkedIn.
I mean, who doesn't? I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn.
Boo.
Yeah, it's a nightmare phrase, isn't it?
Pretty much.
It's like, now I have to remember my LinkedIn password and I have to go through this is what my profile was like? I haven't updated all my resume. I'm just gonna not. Fuck this. And then you leave LinkedIn and you don't touch it until you get that dreaded email. Hi, I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's like every month or two, the person figures out that I'm not on it yet.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, Microsoft's presser, boring in the most interesting way. All right, interesting in the most boring Microsoft most interesting news out of it is probably the Windows 10 and Xbox initiative that they're working on.
What's that?
It's just called Xbox Anywhere. It's It's basically an initiative to bring more games to Windows 10 and to the Windows Store that use Xbox Live.
Okay.
So Gears of War 4 is coming to Windows 10. Rocket League is part of this initiative technically. If you buy it on the Windows Store, you can do crossplay with Xbox players, which is interesting.
That's cool.
Now, apparently crossplay also exists for PlayStation 4 players and Xbox players on the Steam version. I haven't quite figured out how that works, but if you know how that works, maybe send us an email, and we'll give you that address at the end of the show. But, yeah, the idea is to enable more games to have crossplay through Xbox Live and get more people to use Windows 10. That's kind of their whole deal. They're working on bringing more games to Windows 10 and the Xbox One. I hope they can bring some kind of older games. Like, I'd love to see Sunset Overdrive on PC. I would play that. I would buy it.
Well, it's not that old.
It's old. I'm saying it's older. Like, it's a year and a bit old now. I don't want to just see, like, new games as they come out be brought. I want to see kind of some older stuff be brought over.
Okay. Yep.
Like Rise of the Tomb Raider got brought over. And that was an Xbox One exclusive. But apparently it is coming to it's coming to PlayStation 4 now as well.
Cool. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to have to get a PlayStation 4. There are enough games now being announced that I just want to be able to play them if I stay PC only.
And you can finally justify the purchase, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Is there anything else from E3 you want to talk about?
No, actually. I think I'm full up on E3 right now.
Cool. So then what are you looking forward to playing?
This week, I'm going to play some Hitman, like I mentioned.
You're going to play some Hitman tonight, aren't you? You want to finish
Yeah, I'm going to play some Hitman, like, right fucking now. Because I want to get that elusive target down. I want to nail that. I'm probably going to continue to play some Ultra Street Fighter. Because I've been having some fun with that. Probably going to see about maybe finishing off Batman Arkham Origins. And I think that's going to... And Fire Emblem Fates. I think that's going to cover it for my week.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. How about yourself? What are you going to be playing this week, you think?
So I've still got the end of Final Fantasy X to get to. So if I can find a night where I can sort of get myself in the mood for some narrative stuff, then hopefully I can get that done. It'll be new to me. Unfortunately, I have had the ending spoiled. I mean, it's been so many years, it was almost inevitable. I still think I'll enjoy it on the spot, honestly. I mean, I've been enjoying the narrative I'm familiar with already. But that'll be something I'll have to do. I think I'll still be playing more Dissidia as kind of a relaxing, I've got a spare 15 minutes, I'm just going to play a round or two thing.
Yeah.
And I also still want to try to finish as best I can Monster Hunter 4U. I want to fight every type of monster it has before Generations comes out in a month. Which will be tough. Because I'm near the end, but I don't think I'm so near the end that I can kill everything else in a month.
Gotcha. I just realized there's one more thing that I wanted to play this week.
Yeah, what's that?
The Doom demo.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've been avoiding Doom because I've seen how, like, gory it is, and it's just like,
That kind of seems like its thing, right?
Yeah, it very much seems like its thing. And I'm going to see if I can get past that.
Okay.
And, see, because I've been advised that Doom will be quite refreshing to me, since one of my beefs with Uncharted was that its encounter design is total garbage. Same with The Last of Us. I had that same problem. But the Doom demo... Doom in general has been recommended to me because despite its level of violence, it does do encounter design incredibly, incredibly well. And everything feels very deliberate and smooth. So I'm going to try it just to see if I can get past it and see if that holds true for me.
Cool. Hopefully it does then.
Yeah, I'm hoping it works out because Doom does seem like it's an interesting game. I'm just worried I'm just worried that the hyperviolence is going to get to me.
Yeah, fair enough.
But we're going to see how that goes. That's why the demo exists.
So it's a free demo, is it?
Yep, apparently only available for this week.
Oh, okay.
So if you're interested in grabbing that, maybe get it. And it's the whole first level too, which is probably like a 45-minute to an hour section.
Cool.
So it's a nice little slice of Doom. You think that's going to do it for us this week?
I think that's it for me.
All right, and I think that's it for me. Thank you so much for listening to episode 3 of PauseCast this week. A little bit of housekeeping for you guys. First of all, if you haven't heard, we are on iTunes, which is super, super good.
You've got that handy URL for it.
Yeah, I do have a handy URL for it. If you guys want to leave us a review, subscribe on there, it really helps us out because we're a new podcast, and every review kind of helps put us up a little bit. So the more people we can get rating and reviewing our show, the more exposure we can get. And that link that I mentioned, and so did Mark, that is bit.ly/pausecast-iTunes, all lowercase. I did find out that that's case sensitive. If you'd like, you can also follow us on SoundCloud, where the show is hosted. That is soundcloud.com/pausecastshow.
We're on Twitter as well, at PauseCastShow. And you've set up a Facebook group now as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I've just got a brand new Facebook group. Brand spanking new. How awesome is that? Cool. We're going to be taking questions on Facebook through there. And we're also going to be letting people post. It's a group instead of a page so that people can post and share stuff with us more easily and with everyone around us. And we want to encourage a community to kind of form around our discussions and have more discussions and be able to share stuff with us and with our community really, really easily. So that's one way that we're going to promote that. Mark, where can people find our Facebook group?
So the URL for the Facebook group is www.facebook.com/groups/PauseCastShow. Or you can search for PauseCast Show, right?
You can just search for PauseCast in groups.
Cool. I'm going to try that right now. Oh, look, I found it.
Awesome. That's nice and easy. I think that's also probably because you're a member of the group.
True.
So if you join that group, either me or Mark will approve you for that. All right. Mark, where can people find you on anywhere else?
Twitter's my main thing. I'm there at Honest Universe.
Yep. And you've been doing some pretty interesting stuff this week as well. You've been doing a little bit of data journalism and requests from the corrections department in New Zealand. Is that correct?
Yeah. I do a bunch of things. Most of my feed is cats and quackery, but this time it's been corrections as well. I've got an alliteration thing going on.
Cats, quackery, and corrections. Good shit. I am at Cockatiel Cutie on basically everything. So if you want to find me, it's probably the easiest way to do it.
And that's cutie the word, not QT the letters, right?
That is cutie the word, not QT the letters.
Cool.
You can also find my personal blog at bird.school, which is for birds. I'm not a lawyer. We want to give a quick shout out to Anamanaguchi, and they do our opening and closing music, which is called John Hughes, and that's on the album Endless Fantasy. It's a really good album if you're into video games and into kind of the old-fashioned game score where it was chiptune and electronic. Anamanaguchi is a blend of chiptune and rock, and I'm really into them. So I would give their album a listen. I think they've just released a new one as well, so this is from an older album. I also want to apologize, just super quick, for our inconsistent upload times.
Yeah, my move has been pretty disruptive to it as well, but that's done now.
Yeah, and I've been just kind of stressed out myself. The good news is we're going to be stopping inconsistency because we're going to be uploading every week from on Thursday for our international audience and on Friday for those of us based in New Zealand, Australia, and probably bits of the UK. We'll be uploading on Fridays. All right. Is that it?
I think that's it. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much for listening. I'm Jessica Alouette.
I'm Mark.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye. That sounds weird saying bye.